Team Crossbody, The Struggle. Heyo, FinalBoosh here, and welcome back to The Struggle. I know it's been a while, but I was waiting for Under Night 2 to be released, and I thought I'd be feeling other games like Mortal Kombat. That fell through because it was never really improved. And then I thought Street Fighter 6 for a little bit, and then I'm like, no, that involves me playing Street Fighter 6. So The Struggle kind of fell on the back burner for a while, but I'm planning on bringing it back with Under Night 2 and Tekken 8. And I feel comfortable placing my hat on those two games. Under Night 2 was already established to be a really fun game, and after doing some research and staying back in a while and just watching Tekken 8, I'm under the impression that it is a well-designed game, despite the aggression mechanic with the heat. Is really well executed, unlike the rest of these newer Japanese fighters that just kind of use them to skip neutral and pleasure the casuals. That's a rant for another day. We're here for Under Night 2 today. And you might be thinking, well, the match has started, why am I just talking over it? Well, to be honest, I get kind of stomped on this match because it took a little bit finding a match in this game. I was off work and I'm like, oh cool, I'll just play Under Night. And it took me like a half hour to find somebody, so I don't know if this game is dead or I'm just at the wrong hours. But this game is pretty much, what, 2 weeks old? I was expecting this to hop right in and find a match. But I did find a guy, and by all that time I was a little rusty, all my training with Chaos kind of went. So he kind of crushes me, and I don't know much to do with the Hyde matchup. He has a big ass hitbox swinging it around, he has a fireball. I don't know much to do about this guy other than just to be patient and wait. But, you know, it's just how this kind of thing goes. I was trying to fight a Hyde in a room match, but we couldn't connect because he's from Japan. But I do have a long set later on with a guy, and those matches are fine. So we'll look at those. So I'll only make it about 3 matches today because I play a long set with a guy who played Gurdu. That's his name, Gurdu. Anyway, you can see this guy is just ripping me the fuck apart. So I think I get a round on him eventually. I think one thing I should have been doing as Chaos is it like Milky Blood? Can you shield on I know if you delay your shield a bit, you kind of get like a push block effect. Can you just shield itself? Can you use the shield to kind of take attacks? I should have been using that a lot more. But I was trying to look for whiff punishes weirdly for a guy that looks like it has a really hard time finding whiff punishes. Like I said, Chaos is kind of stubby. But I try to mount some offense here. I think this is the round actually. I don't know what that is. Spit some fire at him. Try to set up some traps. Oh yeah, that was nice. I like that. I think if I would have practiced and fought this guy more immediately, I would have took a win off this guy. I don't feel like this guy is particularly stronger than me. I just think he knows the game more. But I you know that feeling? I feel stronger. It feels like I could play this matchup if I had a bit more grasp on what Hyde does and a bit more control over what my Chaos needs to do in this kind of situation. Which I should have been using my pet more, but I was afraid to put him out because once he gets hit, he's gone, and Hyde just has a whole bunch of hitboxes swinging all over the place. So I was afraid to pull him out more. I tried to use, I wanted to use his fire. I should have used his fireballs. Or I should have used, see, with my pet or my Pokemon guy, if he's out and I don't, that was a good idea. If he's out, he doesn't take damage. So what I should have did was play around with that more. I should have just walked him over towards him a bit. If Hyde decided to come out and start throwing fireballs, I could walk my pet over there, and then I could probably see. That's what I should have did. I should have just kept down and just shoot fireballs at him and bait him to come in on me and force him to make a mistake. That's the only way I could think something like this might go. Otherwise, it's just me trying to beat somebody who obviously has better range than I do. But nothing against Zero. This was a good match. He taught me a lot about Hyde in this matchup. But let's move on to the next set of games. And here's the first match versus that Gurdu I mentioned earlier. I think one of my problems as a fighting game player is that I tend to fight people who are way stronger than me. And I don't think there's anything in and out of itself wrong with that, but sometimes you need to fight somebody of your own skill level to help you understand if it's not about your character, it's about just where you need to be in neutral or what kind of pressure. You kind of need that, because if you fight somebody who's stronger than you, you won't know why you lost. So fighting a long set versus this guy really helped me understand my character a bit better. So even though I will always promote fighting people stronger than you, never forget to fight people who are among your skill level. It's always valuable information. No matter what you do, you can get valuable information out of anything. Anyway, I fought this guy before. This is our second set actually. I met him in rank, and we decided to play, a long player matches. And I noticed Gordu really has a problem with my pet, as far as I know. He has a problem with the zoning that my pet does. And I know Gordu has long buttons, but they're kind of slow. And all I gotta do is be safe and poke him out with fireballs like I'm doing right there. Kind of bait a movement with my jump in and cancel into my lizard slash thing. And he had a really hard time dealing with it. And that's probably how this matchup was played. I think if he was a bit more aggressive, he would probably take my pet off the play a lot more. But one of the major mistakes I was making was doing my claw slash on hit, because it's not a safe move to do. You could probably fill out the area, but with a poke every once in a while. But if he's on point, he can take him out of play constantly, and he starts to do that later on once he starts to become more accustomed to the matchup. But yeah, I go through a lot of throws here. Chaos doesn't have a whole lot of hollows, so it ain't much you can do there. So you have to go through a whole lot of left, rights, and strike throw, which is fine. I'm glad. I like that. I like that a lot better. But yeah, I take the first match. So let me show you deeper into the set. And here we are, the last match of the video. And I thought it'd be more interesting to show you the last piece of the set. And one of my favorite things about long sets with people, especially when they're around your skill level, is that you start to get into each other's heads. You start to understand what one player wants, and it's all non-verbal communication, which I just find that extremely interesting about fighting games. So by this time, he took like 2 games off me. You see I got a 7-win streak, but he was still holding his own. It's not like it was all washes. He just had to get used to the matchup. I don't think Chaos is a popular character per se. So yeah, so he's a lot more comfortable. You see him getting in a lot more. You see him checking my pet in this matchup. You see me being a bit more careful with what I do. I think I get extremely sloppy, and I give him the win. But sometimes Gordu just feels like he steamrolls you. And I have a hard time. I said it before. I have a hard time dealing with pressure in anime fighters so far. I'm glad Under Night is more grounded, so it's a bit more communicatable, but it's still a problem. And I think I'm getting used to being, one of the things that I found super uncomfortable is being pressured. Not in every game, but since blocking is fun in Under Night, I do like blocking. I don't mind it. I don't mind taking the loss or blocking for a long periods of time, because it doesn't feel like anybody does anything particularly cheap. And he gets to throw kill on me. So yeah, he'll win a match and then I'll end up winning the game. Like I said, he only took 2 games off of me, but I think if he would have played more, he would have started taking games off. But after this, he just kind of quit. I don't know if he just was frustrated or he just had to be somewhere. I can only assume. So by this time, I was getting a lot more comfortable with Chaos, or at least with the Gordu matchup. Chaos is a super fun character. If you don't mind that he doesn't do your typical hollow pressure for puppet characters, then he's a really rewarding character to play. Even at this level, I felt super rewarding. And yeah, I tried to set that up, but my issue is I should have just neutral jumped that. But I kept forward jumping, so I would whip the combo. And I tried to make sure to start off with my 2C as my combo starter, because I think that's my highest damage starter. Obviously, it's your heaviest button, as far as I know. And I use Pizza Cutter a lot more because he's worried about the pet coming out. So I'm like, well, I could chip him and poke him away with Pizza Cutter. Not chip. You're not killing anybody with pizza. The Pizza Cutter. It's like this game is not a whole lot of chipping. But yeah, I started utilizing that, which I keep forgetting characters have, like, I want to say, like, traits. They have little special actions they can do. So for my lizard guy, if I just hit, what is it, BD or BC, together. He can shoot fire out, and if I hit 2 BB, he can like kind of backflip behind the opponent and do a left right. So that was pretty cool. I started to abuse that a lot more. And I started putting down my, what is it called? My little invisible headbutt move or bite move in pressure, because he doesn't, I trained him not to hit buttons during my block streak. So I was getting away with a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, and then I go right back to zoning with him. This is fucking cool. Like, I love it when after a long set and you're just careful and everything's just kind of tense. There's a quiet tenseness to it, and it's kind of like a quiet respect between both players. I love it. Yeah. I start to get sloppy with tech in that. Yeah, and then I utilize shield. It's kind of like full circle. I should have been using shield with height. Anyway, he had enough after that. So that was a struggle. A bit rusty with coming back, but that was a struggle. I'm going to do a lot more under night if I can find matches. I'm going to do a lot more Tekken 8 once that comes out, because boy, I'm going to get smacked with a whole bunch of knowledge checks, because all Tekken is, people think Tekken is a super hard series, but it's only hard because if you're not a legacy player, you get hit with a whole lot of legacy moves. That's all. But the Tekken in and of itself isn't difficult, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. This was the Final Boosh, this was the struggle, and I'll see you next time.